Good morning. This is my new mug, a cup of courage. And then on the other side, you've got this. So that's our motto for today. Let's have some courage and just really embody that we've got this. All right. Today, let's talk about the 8 rules of success that'll help you fill your schedule or sell out your offers faster and with more ease. By the way, these are 8 rules. Like, I actually have them written down, and I will, especially when I'm launching, when I'm going through something, I'll like go through them and be like, okay, where am I out of alignment? What am I not doing? Like, like, where am I not following my rules? And it's worked amazingly for me. So those are both, there's a little bit of strategy in there, but then there's also a lot of energetic and mindset and just the way business is, and a reminder, essentially, to not make stories about where we're at that are actually going to get in our way and get us to take our foot off the gas sooner than we should. So, for those of you who don't know me, I'm Ilsa Comtier. I'm the founder of the Sovereign Entrepreneur Academy, where I marry strategy, energy, community to help soulful entrepreneurs, healers, transformational coaches, wellness practitioners to get booked out without burnout. So welcome. I'm in Boulder, Colorado. Say hi to me. Let me know where you're watching this from, whether you're live or whether you are in the future at some point. Okay. Here are the 8 rules. Rule number 1, take consistent, inspired action. Be in action, but make sure that those actions are based on passion, they're based on joy, that they're actually lighting you up. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about where these inspired actions come from a little later, because a lot of us, a lot of my clients will say, well, Ilsa, how do I figure out what those inspired actions are? And, I'm going to talk about that in number 6, but sometimes it's more about being in action and making sure that these actions feel good than anything else. So that's rule number 1, is take consistent, inspired action, be in action. Here's rule number 2, focus on process goals. Focus on process goals and focus on your energy, the energy that you're putting into those process goals. So let go of like any idea of around outer results. What are process goals? There's 2 types of goals. There's results oriented goals. Like, I want 20 people in my program. I want to make 10K this month. Like, these are very specific results. This is what I want at the end of the journey kind of goals. And then there are process goals. Process goals are the goals you take every day or every week that you commit to taking to hopefully potentially get you to whatever that carrot is that you want at the end of the journey. What happens is that when you focus on process goals, you can't lose. So for me, for example, if my goal is to, during my launch, post every day and send an email 3 or 4 times a week and, reach out during this week to all my prior clients to see if they're interested in my new program, as long as I'm doing these things, I've won. What outcome comes out of that doesn't actually matter. And the basis for this is that when we focus on process goals and we focus on taking these actions from a place of, from an energy of empowerment, of enthusiasm, of love, then, and those are kind of your inspired actions, right? Like, then you can't lose in the end, because business is a little bit like compound interest. It builds over time. So you might not see a whole lot of return at first, but if you keep doing and keep focusing on those smaller goals and keep making sure that you're showing up consistently and you're showing up with the right energy, then at some point, just like with the stock market and compound interest, at some point there's going to be a tipping point in your work. And what that looks like is as you keep doing these process goals, as you keep showing up with the right energy, you're building momentum, you're creating a brand, you're making connections. And all of that slowly like fills that cup and it at some point overflows. So it's very important to not focus on the end results because at least at first, because the end result can take time to get to it. But if you focus on these smaller goals and showing up consistently, you almost guarantee the end result. If your focus is on the end result and you don't see return quickly enough, you don't see that things are moving quickly enough, you'll take your foot off the gas and then you'll never get there. So for me, that's really important is focus on process goals, focus on showing up with the right energy and taking those small steps consistently and trust that if you do that and you do that long enough, your success is absolutely inevitable. At some point, you will tip into just a flow of success and a flow and a momentum of success. So that's two. Rule number three is do not evaluate or judge the initial results. It's not done until it's done. It's not done until it's over. I see that a lot. So this is true for your whole business, but it's also true for your launches. So I see it a lot like with people in my peers in my own coaching groups that I'm part of. I see it in my clients is like they do something. And if they don't get results right away, if they're not seeing that a strategy is working right away, then they just take their foot off the gas and they miss out. Because again, it's a little bit like what I was talking about in number two. Things build over time. Things in the real world take time to get to catch momentum and to start showing result and bringing result into form. And so you don't want to try something once or twice and then not get results and decide it doesn't work. You want to literally commit to something and you want to commit to it either for a specific time frame, like 6 months or a year, or you want to commit to it until the end. Like with launching, for example, it's pretty common that you'll do all this stuff and you won't get sales at first. And suddenly, like it's only towards the end, or you'll get one or two sales and then nothing. And then again, you'll get another influx towards the end. But if people like base whether something is working in the beginning, then they're going to take their foot off the gas and they're going to miss out on everything that was going to come to them at the end. So whether you're looking at a marketing strategy or whether you're looking at a launch, you want to commit to it for long enough to actually see momentum build and see results. And you do not want to evaluate or judge the initial results that you get because they're not a fair evaluation of what's working or what's not. It took me it took me months of doing, like, for example, going live regularly until I started getting people, even if I don't have, like to this day, I never have a lot of people watching me live, partially because I go live when I want to. I don't go live at a set time. But I have tons of people who will then watch them. Almost every single client I get will say, "Oh, I saw this video you did on this." Sometimes they're seeing things I did months ago. So trusting in the process and not evaluating your results based on measures that don't actually mean anything. So that's number three. Number four is don't make your results or lack thereof personal and don't analyze them or make them mean something they don't. So you put out something and you're not getting a whole lot of response, or you go live a few times and no one's watching. And so these stories start happening. And some of the things I've heard from my client is, no one likes me or wants me. I'm not good enough for this. There's others out there with more experience doing the same thing I'm doing. Of course, they're buying from them and not from me. Oh, my program or my offer is too expensive. No one has money right now. I need to drop the price, or obviously I'm not good at marketing, or obviously I'm not good at my messaging or my copy. I need another course. I need more training. I need this. I need that. That whole like, I'm not enough and I don't have what I need. And then another one that I've hear is, oh, there's still something wrong inside me. I'm still blocking the success. I'm still not, like, I hear that a lot from healers because I work with soulful entrepreneurs and people who are very aligned with energy. And the truth is, like, that's a self-fulfilling prophecy. I'm still blocked. There's still something wrong with me. There's still limiting beliefs I'm holding on to. I'm blocking my success. That's the thing you want to know about number 4 is that the way our brain works is we're going to make the things we tell ourselves, about our business, about our clients, we're literally going to make them come true. Our mind is very simple. We say something and our mind take it at face value. It's like, oh, okay, and then that's what we start seeing. That's actually what we start creating. We start seeing more and more and experiencing more and more of that. So we make assumptions and we make those assumptions true by believing them. And our mind proves us right, and it becomes this weird vicious cycle. So when you're not getting the results you want, people are not opting in for your freebie, or people are not signing up, again, like, do not create stories around it. Go in, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how to do that, but go in, check in. What needs to be tweaked? First, you always go in inside. What needs to be tweaked inside me? Am I holding on to something I need to not hold on to? Um, and this is actually number 7 on my list, but one of the things that's been really powerful for me is when something out there is not working, then I always look at, okay, am I doing that in my own life? Like, if I start attracting a lot of people who can't afford me, then I will look at, okay, where am I doing that in my own life? Where am I saying, I can't afford this, I can't afford that? Where in my own life am I holding on to money or being tight around money? Where in my life am I creating this pattern, either internally or externally, that's being mirrored out there in the world? So when things are not working, do not take them personal, do not make them about you, and do not analyze them or create stories around them that will become self-fulfilling prophecies. You want to ask yourself, like, if you start saying, oh, no one has got money right now, the first question you want to ask yourself is, do I absolutely know that this is true? And second, is this something I want to make true? And normally you're going to answer no to both of these questions, and that's your cue to just let that shit go. That doesn't mean that you don't look at what you're doing and you don't say, okay, what needs to shift? Like, that's what we're doing as entrepreneurs. We're always experimenting. We're always trying to figure out, like, what needs to shift internally, and what can we tweak externally so that we reach people better, so that our messaging is more on point. I'm not saying to not take responses as information, but it is all they are. They're information, and they're short term information. Don't make them mean more than they actually mean, because then you'll get all up in your head and you'll stop yourself. So that's number 4. Number 5 is, do not focus or indulge in anything that's not aligned with your highest level energy and the highest level results that you desire. So that's a little bit like what I was talking about with that question. Do I want this to be true? If the answer is no, then you don't want to focus on that. That includes, like, not focusing or indulging anything we don't want in our life. That includes wasting your time or energy on thoughts, feelings, attitudes that bring you down and make you feel small. Because there's no way that you can create something big and expansive and impactful out there in the world if you feel small. The other thing you want to look at is, people in your life. Like, do not indulge, do not focus on clients you don't want to attract. Do not create content for them. Do not spend a whole lot of time in Messenger or in your Facebook group entertaining them, or people who are not your clients, people in your life. Like, do not spend a whole lot of time and energy on people that bring you down or that make you feel small or that sap your energy. So essentially, you want to look at your life, whether it's internal feelings, thoughts, attitudes, beliefs, or external people you're talking to, people in your life, and you want to see, do I want more of this or not? And if the answer is no, I don't want more of this, this is not who I want to work with, this is not who I want to spend my time with, this is not how I want to feel, then you want to make sure that you start not indulging that, not spending a lot of time and energy on that, and start shifting your focus towards what you want. So that's number 5. Number 6 is always be in connection, and this is going to help you with the other ones, but always be in connection with your sovereign self and your sovereign reality of infinite possibilities, of the inevitable success that you desire. So when I work with a client, whether I work with them in my group or whether I work with them one-on-one, I always start that process with taking them through a vision quest to discover their highest level vision, their highest level work. And that includes, in that vision, where they're unleashed, they're empowered, they're actualized as a healer, as a practitioner, as a woman or a man, as a being. And also in this vision where they're changing the world, they're sharing their highest level work, they're making good money, they feel impactful, they feel powerful, they feel fulfilled. I get them to really get a sense of who they are in that vision and what's happening in that vision. And then I invite them to stay connected to that vision and to make every choice from that vision. So that almost becomes like their lighthouse, their compass. And so when we're talking about taking inspired action, we're literally talking about taking inspired action from that place. If I think of my sovereign self, if I think of the reality my sovereign self creates, what inspired action do I need to take now to bridge that gap, to literally collapse between where I am now and where that vision is, or where I am now and where that vision is, depending how the mirroring works. But you get the drift, right? Like, being able to sense, like, what is the energy of that sovereign self? What are the thoughts? What are the feelings? What are the beliefs of that sovereign self? How am I, as that sovereign self in that vision, showing up? What inspired action is that sovereign self taking? And so essentially being like really putting out yourself out there from that perspective. When you do that, you will literally have a compass. You'll know what inspired action to take. You'll know when you're out of alignment. You'll know what is going to create that success. So that's number 6, is really focusing and having a clear sense, an internal sense, and a clear vision of who you are at your highest level and what it is that you create in the world at that highest level, and moving from that place, deciding, choosing, experimenting in your business, responding to what's happening in your work from that place. So that's 6. Number 7, I already talked a little bit, is really getting curious when you're seeing something happen in the world, a pattern especially, like no one's buying, everybody's waiting, no one has money, like anything where it's like, oh man, that's happened a couple times. You want to stop focusing out there and you want to move your attention in here, and you want to say, okay, what's happening with me? Where am I doing that? So the example I used earlier was, if you keep getting a lot of people who can't afford to work with you, and they want to but they can't afford it, you want to check is, what is it that I want right now that I keep saying I can't afford? Or, you keep getting clients who say, hey, now's not really quite the right time. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until after the holidays. I'm going to wait until after this. I'm going to wait until I get that raise, whatever it is. You want to stop, you want to look inside, and you're going to want to be like, where am I waiting? Where am I waiting for something to shift before I take action? Where am I doing that in my own life? And, this is some powerful energetic work where when you start breaking these patterns in your own life, you start actually seeing that clients or people you attract no longer mirror these patterns to you. So when you're seeing something out there that you don't like, the first thing is to try to essentially release, shift that pattern within you, and essentially trust that as you do this, your energy will shift and you will not see that in people. So, you know, where in your life are you holding yourself in lack, in scarcity, in uncertainty, in waiting? Anything that you see in your clients that you don't like, start shifting inside you, and you will see less of people showing up in your life with that problem. Um, I used to have this pattern a while back where I would attract clients who like needed so much information. Like they almost needed to get on multiple calls with me and to feel safe to move forward. And they needed like all the blow by blow. Sometimes multiple times I would have already shared things, but they needed to hear it again. There was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of self doubt in their energy. And that was one of the advice my coach gave me at the time was, where are you doing that? Where are you needing to like double and triple check? Where are you not trusting your own wisdom and your own impulse to move forward? And my coach was right. She said, if those people are keep coming to you asking these questions, that means they're interested, but they're not trusting themselves. So where in your own life are you not trusting yourself? And I started looking, and interestingly, in my life, it was more like in relationships. And it wasn't in business per se, it was in other places. And so I started taking action. I started having conversations I needed to have. I started healing some of the things within me that felt like I could not trust myself. I didn't have my own back. Like I was going to make a mistake. No matter what choice I made, I was going to make a mistake. I started really working with that within myself. And interestingly enough, when I did that, all those clients who like needed to get on 2, 3, 4 calls with me before working with me, one, a lot of them like finally made up their mind and started working with me, and then that pattern stopped. I can't remember having to get on more than, I mean, I'll get on a call. I might even get on a second quick call if somebody still has like a couple things they want to work through. But most of the time, it's done in one call, and that's more than enough, and people feel really safe and comfortable, like, moving forward with me. So that was definitely something in me that was being mirrored out there in the world, and it didn't matter what I did out there, I couldn't fix it until I met what was going on inside me. And then the last one I'm going to give you, number 8, is surround yourself with successful, supportive, high vibe people. And when ask for support, like when you start seeing your energy dip, when you start having doubts, like when all these things are coming up, you want to have people that you can reach out to and be able to say, hey, I'm starting to believe the BS in my mind, or hey, I'm sensing my energy drop because this happened or this didn't happen. I could use it. I could use some good vibes. Like, could we chat for 10 minutes? This is the beauty in some ways of having um, a support system. Thank you, Chloe. Yeah, trusting ourselves. Yep. So important. This is where like you know, having a mentor, having a group of people that you work with can be really powerful. Because if you don't have friends, you're not great at building community, then you have a safe place to go to when things are not quite moving internally for you. And I will tell you that, you've heard me say this if you've watched any of my videos, but your energy is 80% of the work. Strategy is important. You can't get there without the strategy. But, I mean, it's a little bit like having a car and having gas, but not knowing how to drive, or being deathly afraid of driving. Well, it doesn't matter how great your car is. It doesn't matter that it's all filled up. If you're not going to like actually put the key in there, turn in and drive, it's not going to happen. And so having that mentor, having that support allows you to get back in that right energy, get back in that vibe, get support for figuring out what those inspired actions are with so much more ease. So that's number 8, surround yourself with successful and supportive high vibe people. That's all I got for you. I love to connect with soulful entrepreneurs, like as an extension of number 8. So if you ever want to have like a tea connect call, I'm a tea drinker. You're free to drink whatever you want. And let's chat. Let's see how we can support each other. Let's see how we can collaborate. I would love that. Um, if that feels fun to you, if you want to do that, then you can message me, or you can put let's connect in the message and I will message you and we'll do it. Yes. Chloe says the right mentorship and connection is invaluable. Yay for tea drinkers. Yes, I absolutely agree. I think it's super important. Um, and I think especially with us sensitives, soulful entrepreneurs, we're not always great at doing that because it does take energy to build connections. So oftentimes we keep that energy for clients, and then we don't have a whole lot of energy left when it comes to us getting met and to meeting people who are not automatically clients. There are going to be mentors, there's going to be friends, there are going to be collaborators, but that's super important in success in business overall. Thanks for being here, Chloe. All right, guys, that is it for today. I hope this was helpful. And like I said, if you're watching this at any point, say hi. Let me know where you're watching this from, or let me know what resonated, and I will say hi back.